Games is our word for today because all of the gamers around the world rejoiced because as of July 3, 2025, the Stop Killing Games movement has finally reached its 1 million signature threshold. And it's all because of a game dev with a beard, a mic, a deep luscious voice, and has a stunning case of main character complex that decided to wage war against the consumer advocacy movement and somehow ended up helping it go viral and eventually winning it. And that's right, it's Pirate Software, aka Jason Thor Hall, the indie dev behind Heartbound and the long unskippable rants on YouTube, went after the Stop Killing Games initiative like it's John Wick to his dog's Unaliver. And instead of sinking the movement like he probably hoped, and looking back I think he actually hoped for that outcome, he pulled a full-on Streisand effect. He tossed a Molotov of misinformation and screamed about developer abuse, then he accidentally amplified the very thing he was trying to kill. And this is the story of how Pirate Software's ego blew up the movement that's trying to stop your digital purchases from getting Thanos snapped. So for those who are blissfully unaware, the Stop Killing Games movement, or SKG, is being spearheaded by Mr. Ross Scott, aka Accursed Farms, trying to fight back against game developers deleting online-only games that you paid for. Not refunded, not reissued, just deleted. Poof, gone, Thanos snap, bam. Mainly games like, The Crew, Battleborn, or Ubisoft's entire moral compass. So what are they asking for? Well, it's pretty simple. So when a game is being sunsetted, either leave it in a playable state or give the community the tools to preserve it like a fossil. And contrary to whatever Pirate Software was smoking, it's not asking developers to keep the servers alive until aliens come and probe all of our holes. It just wants basic digital ownership rights to mean something. And in April 2024, Pirate Software dropped his now infamous two-part rant where he claims that the Stop Killing Games movement will kill live service games and force game developers to give up server binaries while simultaneously setting the whole gaming industry world on fire, destroying the world's economy and end of life as we know it. And of course, the last part was just sarcasm if some of you didn't catch that. And as you can see, his two-part video was a booming. It got more engagement than all of his videos prior and after. And those videos had the most damaging effect on the Stop Killing Games momentum. Like, after that, the signatures dried up quicker than my skin. And let me tell you, that video was not dripping in swag, but filled with hyperbole and strawman arguments. And he claimed that the initiative wanted the devs to internally support games or else. And completely ignoring that Mr. Ross literally showed the entire full screen on his video debunking that exact fear. And he also made it sound like the Stop Killing Games movement was some kind of a gamer mafia that would use bots and legal trickery to harass developers into giving up their code. Now, to be fair, and yes, we're being fair in this channel, we're all about fairness here, and in SomeOrdinaryGamers video, Mr. Mudahar responded to Pirate's video and found the 3 valid arguments worth prickling our brains with. And one concern is that some people might use the game's server files to make their own private servers and make money off of them.
It's the most common requirement of the initiative, which is games have to be left in a functional, playable state. Now, what happens if that game is a online-only live service game? Well, if you want that to stay in a functional, playable state, that means the devs have to release either server binaries or somehow carve off the game to be a single-player experience now. Some way to keep it functional and playable, right? Now, many of you are requesting, yes, I should get the server binaries so that I can go and make private servers for this. But that doesn't make a lot of sense in the real world. And the reason why is because it leaves developers open to abuse. So let's explore that a little bit. Let's say that you made your own video game, and you made a live service game. Maybe it's an MMO, maybe it's something else, right? And let's say that I want to monetize that game, but you don't allow monetization of the game by any other party. This makes sense because most creators don't allow for that. You can't just take someone else's art and profit off of it. Normal, right? So then I go, well, how am I going to force you to do this? Under this initiative, you would have to release the server binaries or keep the game in a functional, playable state at end of life. So I hit you with a ton of bots. I hit you with a ton of exploits. I attack your community. I destroy your Reddit. I go after your business. I go everywhere that I possibly can to make this cost as much as it possibly can for you. And it's not hard to do this. We saw the exact same thing happen in TF2 recently. The massive amount of bots that were attacking the game. This is not infeasible. This is something that is very easily attainable today. And let's say that this goes on long enough that your game dies because you can't afford it anymore, and your studio has to shut down. At end of life, you now have to release those server binaries to keep the game in a functional playable state. At which point I take those, I create a private server, and I monetize it. And some people have said, well, simply don't allow monetization of the server. Well, who's going to enforce that? If you want a government initiative to enforce that, that means the government has to build a registry of all of those games and all of that intellectual property that shouldn't be monetized, and then somehow enforce that.
Yeah, and that point didn't hold up for long because, as Mr. Mudhar pointed out, that big companies can already shut down private servers if they break the rules. Like Riot took down a League of Legends clone with just one cease and desist letter, and Blizzard has shut down World of Warcraft servers for the same reason, especially if someone's making money off of them. Now, his second valid argument was the challenge of preserving live service games that require many players to work.
Fix something. So the next one is that this is about games preservation, and that it needs to happen to preserve these types of games for future generations and for everyone to always have forever. But I would argue that this isn't actually preserving these games. Social games, such as, let's say, Apex Legends, require a number of players to be in the match at the same time so that you can have an experience that is only able to be obtained through lots of players interacting, right? It's a multiplayer game, you need a bunch of people. How many of you have felt negatively when an MMO dies? Or when a live service game dies? Oh, dead game. There's only 5 people online, why would I play that? So why would you want to preserve a game in that state? That doesn't make any sense to me. You want to take down these live service games, put them up on a private server, and then play it with a couple of people. You're not bringing it back at its height. You're not taking a snapshot of what the game actually is. You're making it limp on in a way that doesn't make any sense. That's not preservation. And for those that may stop there and go, but private servers going to have a lot of players. Look at all the ones for World of Warcraft. Again, we talked about that. It opens up a route for abuse to the developers.
So for the dead game argument, sure, playing an MMO with 12 people is a ghost town, but the SKG isn't trying to recreate peak 2012 World of Warcraft. It's about preserving the core functionality. So if people want to relive Metal Gear Online for 30 players instead of 300, let them. That's still preservation. And his third reason is just him basically saying that more thoughts on making online-only games means less online-only games in general. So he's saying in a tweet that if you create an environment that puts heavy restrictions or roadblocks on making online-only games, then you will get less online-only games and more single-player or couch co-op games. That isn't hard to understand.
So in the most extreme, people said live service games shouldn't exist at all, and the initiative will kill them off for good, and that's a good thing. Aside from that, the initiative does not purport to kill live service games. It would just make it incredibly difficult to build said games and add a lot of risk to it, which is why I'm bringing all of this up and why I don't support the initiative in the first place. A lot of people don't realize that this will slowly diminish live service games in the market, because it's not an incentive for us to build them anymore, which means you get less multiplayer live experiences.
Yeah, like, it isn't hard to understand, but like, is that a bad thing? Absolutely zero sense in that. So what if the devs are forced to consider end-of-life scenarios, as if that's gonna be a reason not to make a game at all? Like, we still have to consider either making our game with a single-player option, or we must give them the keys to the kingdom to preserve the game. Well, I guess we're not making a game anymore since it's too hard. Like, what kind of thinking is that? So in Pirate Software's logic, he's saying like, the Mona Lisa painting or Van Gogh Starry Night was past its peak, so we just let it wither away because preserving it is too hard, yada yada yada, too vague. Because video games is a form of art. I think most people would agree on that. Now, art may be subjective, but if people work hard on that, and even if only a few people love that, it's still art, in my opinion, and it has every right to be preserved. So, you know, if art forms like painting, music, or craftsmanship can be considered art and can be preserved, so why not games? Like, I can't see a single net negative at that movement. Like, why wouldn't you want to preserve games? Because everything from pennies to freaking fossilized feces are being preserved to the max, so why not games, right? What, too hard, too vague? Come on now. And then after that, Penguin Z0, Charlie, Moist Critical, the man of 1,000 synonyms, entered the ring like a WWE ref to the rescue and helped Mr. Ross slap Pirate Software's butt cheeks red. And Mr. Ross broke it down point by point, then Mr. Charlie is there to kind of spat on him some more. Because SKG isn't asking devs to keep the games alive forever or always hand over their code. It just wants rules so the companies can't just delete games without thinking about the people who bought them. And Pirate Software's videos with a Z, because there's two of them. Whether he denies it or not, it did real damage to the grassroots movement trying to protect consumers. Then after that, he responded in the most egotistical way possible.
Yeah, Hutcher, I did. I think it's really hilarious to me that that entire community is so butt mad at me for putting out a video 10 months ago about their stuff and then not being refuted, and now it's my fault that everything is going wrong for them.
Yeah, like that. Just like his previous drama with World of Warcraft, he just refuses to take accountability, refuses to acknowledge that he got things wrong, and he just refuses to admit that him making that video was mostly the reason why Stop Killing Games stopped making progress. Like, his ego was too much to bear that I think that he's just a shy away from attaining his ultra ego form, like with Vegeta. I could have sworn that I saw his hair glow purple for a frame there a bit, like his eyebrows went missing. And after that, he got ratioed so bad. Like, his videos are getting dislike bombed, getting called out left and right, and his desperate attempt to retain his ultra ego form, he started deleting comments and kinda got proud of it. They're like, "Did you delete comments?" And he's like, "Oh well, yes, of course, because it got nothing to do with the video." Like, oh man, what a load of baloney. Like, I'm guessing that he just couldn't bear seeing comments saying how wrong he is and how egotistical he got. I think, you know, that's why he's deleting comments. And a very important note is that Pirate Software is not at all being a gentleman in criticizing the movement. Like, he was slinging shit from the get-go.
So this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. No, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Then after that, he cried on Twitter and had the audacity to be tired of all the feces being forced served by the people in a silver platter in his face. But he eventually apologized for his rudeness, but doubled down on his provably wrong claims. So win-lose, and it got nowhere. But the most ironic twist of the century is that Pirate Software's misinformed egotistical rampage accidentally boosted the Stop Killing Games' visibility. Because after the drama, big names like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Penguin Z0, The Axeman, SomeOrdinaryGamers, and Asmongold all weighed in, took turns spanking Pirate Software's speeches red, while simultaneously calling out his ultra ego form. Then boom! It scattered like wildfire. Like, he is being trashed so bad that if you search Pirate Software on YouTube, his channel is not the one you'll find immediately. You'll have to scroll past videos of other YouTubers slinging Rotten Tomatoes at him before you eventually find his channel. And in turn, Mr. Ross saw a surge in support, and rightfully so. Like, people are just having fun dancing on Pirate Software's mangled ego. I mean, even I'm having fun making fun of what he did. And people began to realize that, hey, the Stop Killing Games movement is pretty good. So technically, Pirate's whole ego trip made SKG go nuts like EDP445's cupcake incident. And I think this is one of those thanks for the outrage marketing, I guess, moments. Because while Pirate Software's claims were mostly wrong, the attention brought momentum that Mr. Ross has been struggling to build alone. And I do think this comment is true, that I think maybe a lot of people from the UK just signed the petition because they want to hit Pirate Software where it hurts. Like, I'll sign the petition even though I don't know jack shit about the movement, just because I hate Pirate Software. Like, extremely plausible, extremely plausible. Now imagine, and this is where I got the video idea from, just imagine Pirate Software made the right move, made the best decisions, picked the best dialogue options, and just started apologizing for his actions out the wazoo, and just, you know, started supporting Stop Killing Games instead. And you know what could have happened if he'd done that? that could have killed the extreme momentum Stop Killing Games suddenly gained that led it to the finish line and then some. Like, people wouldn't trash him as much, and Mr. Moist and the others wouldn't want to make a video about him some more, so that means less engagement, means not enough eyes and support. So I really do think that Pirate's ego became the turning point for one of the most useful movements for gamers. Pirate Software actually rage baited the entire internet to win the petition. Now, if he somehow did a Lelouch or Eren Yeager this type of scenario, the I will become the villain so they can be the hero type of stuff, now that is impressive. That would be the biggest twist in humanity's history. But I don't think he's that type of guy. I think he's just a guy with a massive ego. So what now? So Stop Killing Games petition reached its goal of 1 million signatures, and that is coming from 500,000 signatures to completion in just a week. And it's all because Pirate Software was being a huge wienerhead about it.
It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit.
But it's not all well and dandy, because according to Mr. Ross, some of the signatures are phantom signatures because some of them are from other countries and not from the UK, but it's still possible to go through with the plan. It's still powerful, and the only choice now is to keep the signatures coming. And as for the main villain, or you know, he may be the unsung hero, Pirate Software, now he hasn't exactly doubled back. In fact, he laid low ever since the ratio. I think he's just posting shorts now and streaming, because in shorts his video don't get as many negative comments, or I don't know, maybe he's just banning them. Now Pirate Software did respond after the Stop Killing Games movement reached its goal, and saying that he actually didn't cause the movement to go stale. Now, whether or not he is right, it doesn't change the fact that he did misrepresented it, which is always going to be a bad thing. Like, maybe some of the downward trend was your video's fault, we will never know, but people will still believe that you're the bad guy because of your massive ego of not admitting that you got things wrong. Like, the downward graph did not make you the villain. Your ego did. And whether it's pride or self-preservation, who knows, but we do know that misinformation can stall progress that helps everyone. And yeah, he's still being trashed till this day. And also, Pirate Software stepped away from Offbrand Games, Mr. Ludwig's company, because of the negative press brought by Pirate Software himself. Because the games being produced by Offbrand Games are being review bombed by the people that doesn't like Pirate Software and his best friend, his massive ego. And what happened was the internet did what it always does, turned a rant into a rally, and in that twisted pixelated mess, Pirate Software helped shine the spotlight on one of the biggest consumer rights fights in modern gaming, and actually winning it. So yeah, the movement lived and left to become successful. And Pirate Software, well, he might have torched the bridge, but at least it lit the path to hardcore gamers' salvation, and possibly to games actually being preserved. So yeah, hooray for today. That's it. Bye.